What trait would you say is most powerful in someone when they embody it fully? I would say there are a few, but one that keeps coming up in my experience that I appreciate in others is letting go of rigidity. The rigidity of control, the rigidity of inertia, sameness, keeping your perception stuck in one fixed view, your self-concepts. Can we also go beyond needing to train your mind in a spiritual way to even have to approach beliefs as something that need to be changed? Can we meet in a place that is so much more beyond having to even fix your limiting beliefs, what you think you're worthy of, these stuff that I often do teach, but what would it be like to go to an even deeper surrender? It's not passive, is it? It's completely elastic in its flexibility of what approaches on the horizon. When something comes, there's no need to have so much self-resistance that you have to keep working on this durational spiritual being. That durational way of even working through your beliefs is a subtle background software that thinks it still needs to cause an alignment to come back into alignment. Let's go for a deeper self-compassion that starts to live in a much more of a lighter way. This human will always be here on the ride. The master doesn't try and remove the human, perfect the human. The human will always be in some subtle scarcity mindset. Its programming is survival, but there's nothing to survive. We know this. But the master goes beyond in its perception. But the human's still there as a tiny little tool. The mind is a tool, right? And you go so far beyond that you can now utilize whatever perception you want to experience in this certain next sequence of events. The only thing I see between the upper bands of consciousness, between the masters, is those that have pushed through this membrane of still in the mentality that they need to work even on their beliefs, even on their how they're having a good day or a bad day, or how to get into alignment, how to remove your self-limiting ideas, your scarcity mindset. Let it stay. Let it all stay. Naturally, you will always be in alignment. You don't have to work out how to be authentic, how to be in alignment, how to be, let it all go. It's keeping you in time. It's keeping you in the older phases of integration. Sometimes I do have a strong outlook on shedding those old phases, but with maturity there is an acknowledgement of their importance. But I really do want to meet you beyond awakening, beyond integration, beyond working on your limiting beliefs. They shed when you stop fighting them. Everything is trying to find you. You don't need to work it out anymore in this space. It's a lot lighter. Now, why is it getting lighter? Why is it getting easier? Why is the only thing you really have to look at is why you don't want it to be easy? That's the only thing really. You don't need to work on the beliefs anymore. That is a belief in itself. They fix themselves. Everything gets taken care of when you really let go of this manipulative, almost black magic. We try and change with an agenda, right, to fix something, to therefore be comfortable within that paradigm, within those prison walls. Do you see the subtle difference? People think that they might still be working on something in an alignment way, but actually throw it away. Throw away the astrology for a moment. Throw away the diets, right? Throw away the discipline. Throw away any kind of manipulation over having to even have a shift back into alignment. Drop it altogether. Now, why is discipline an interesting topic? Because at a certain point, discipline becomes a compensation for the lack of self-trust. As you take that step, right, the ground will always support you. Up until this point, has or hasn't it always taken your foot exactly where you needed it to be? This is interesting to me, right? Things like diet, things like the guilt mechanisms they get into, don't eat that, don't do this, get off social media, get off this, you must be living a very clean, open life. It's ridden in guilt. It's ridden in fear. And I understand that at certain points, certain dietary requirements, certain, vegetarianism, maybe do some grounding, get in the garden. But sometimes your body needs a large amount of sugar. Sometimes it may need you to drink some alcohol to show you the beliefs you have around the judgment. A cigarette, a cigar. Sometimes your body's going through so many shifts, so many biological changes. The cells are burning up. Sometimes it may need sugar. And if you're on a strict diet, stopping carbs, stopping alcohol, stopping anything, whatever feels true to you, but just know that sometimes the body completely knows what it needs. Completely has an intelligence far beyond the mind. Even certain habits that you're trying to remove, let them be. It's not your bad habits that we have to look at. It's the good ones which really come and bite you. That's the one you need to be careful on. Is what do you think you're doing as a habit which is granting you progression? They're the tricky ones. Your bad habits are usually the most freeing, the most joyous. Why is it that humanity tends to push away things that are sweet? Can you see the metaphor that goes here? It's an analogy. It goes deeper than just the sugar. They don't want to receive the sweetness of life, and so we turn everything into a demonization of unhealthy, right? Why do we do it? Because we're not suffering from the substances, ever. We're suffering from our beliefs about the substances. And if enough people in a collective believe that, you start to feel those effects automatically. Caffeine does this, alcohol does that, this plant does this. There is nothing outside of yourself that affects you. We are running through beliefs. Now, you don't need to go through every single one and try and, fix all your beliefs. You don't feel the effects of anything. Enjoy the effects. I love a boost of caffeine, right? I love a beer in the evening. You've come here to enjoy the durational aspect, right? We're not just trying to get out of everything, but we're just shedding the heaviness around these incrustations we put around enjoyment of the sweetness of life. Discipline may work for a certain collective unconscious, for a certain phase of humanity, until you get to the higher rings of a ladder, which is really descending into yourself. The height and depth really make way for what is truly valued, which is a perceptive shift of who you are, which has no height. All of these perceptions are already fixed, created, and you're shifting your awareness across them like a globe, infinite globe of how you can perceive yourself. So why do we get hung up in trying and doing and forcing, not trusting that it's all going to be there? Because your nervous system is programmed in a way by yourself, by your beliefs. It shuts down when it doesn't feel safe enough to move into a lighter way of being. The caterpillar, right? Butterfly comes up, you have a good day, you know that you're flowing, you know that you're in whatever. Something comes along, maybe something that's just asking you as a test just to see if you're going to keep your wings spread or you're going to close in, back into the caterpillar, right? No more discipline, right? Discipline was the caterpillar eating enough of its leaves, doing enough of its shadow work, doing enough of its work to be able to get lighter and lighter and lighter. If it keeps eating, keeps working, it stays on the old paradigm leaf. Discipline isn't going to allow you to fly. The only thing that allows you to fly is the releasing of certain perceptions, not through analysis, but through the realization of how heavy they are. When you just see it with your mind's eye, you notice something in yourself and it drops by itself. The moment you think you have to do the dropping, you're back into holding on to belief. Do you see the difference? It's a byproduct of having enough of holding on to belief. This entire realm is an acquiring of wisdom through exhaustion of what doesn't work. So trying to keep your life on track is the worst thing in the world. Because trying to keep your life on track is like the caterpillar saying, nope, I'm on to the next leaf, I'm on to the next leaf, I'm on to the next leaf. And you start to see others fly, and that isn't the life being on track, that's the old life breaking apart, and the lighter and lighter and lighter now. What are the traits of this new energy? Because we need to start calling it old and new energy. It really helps to show you the difference. Old energy needed to hoard. It needed to plan. It liked to have a focus, to have a discipline, to have a direction, to have a progression, to have a healing. That's very fine. But even away from spirituality, look at the workplace, right? Look at old energy. It was earning. It was achieving. It was vibrational. I'm a subject, and I'm going to acquire safety, security objects within my paradigm. But new energy is so different in the way that things are experienced because it's non-durational in a way. You sense duration, but time is a lot lighter and things come to you. The effort law is flipped. Complete reverse poles. It's completely to do with the reverse poles on the earth as well. This is why the energy is so different. The masculine and the energy are no longer seen as split. There's no longer a working towards. The landscape moves through you. The less you effort for it, the easier it is, and you realize the only thing you were fighting was ease, was luxury of allowing everything to come to you without analysis. So different to the old energy, which many are still having their nervous systems not feeling safe enough to just relax. Sometimes the hand is so clenched, it's so full of its tension, it doesn't feel safe, almost a masculine perspective in a way, to just completely realize everything comes to you if you want it to. Don't have to work that one out. You don't have to come up with what beliefs you're still holding on to. You don't need to work out the analysis of how to get to that open hand stage. You just stop fighting it. You know, like a wall that keeps coming in closer and closer, and you keep pushing it out. Let it come in. The certain signals that this is occurring is if you're having a lot of intensity coming up, a lot of purging, a lot of challenges that seem to be challenges, but really they're not challenges. They're you fighting against them. Now, this exhaustion allows you to see the walls collapse within yourself, and the only thing that's collapsing is your old paradigm. It's your old way of thinking. It should be easy. Life should be graceful, abundant. Not abundant in money. No one wants to have that much money stocked up in their bank. You think you do, maybe. But in this new energy, the lightness is so different. It's so different. There is no safety in the fleeting dance. Certain ways show that someone's in a new energy. There is no need to think of the next step. There is no need to even know if you're in the right direction. There is a full trust in where you are and where you're going, because you're not really going anywhere. Your intention is so clean and so natural. You don't need to work it out if you're pointing in the wrong direction. There's no need. Everything becomes so easy that the only thing that's being purged is the energies within you that want to battle, that want drama, that want competition, want to compete against others, want to prove your worth. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You're perfect. None of this wishy-washy, you're perfection, Yes. But you're so far beyond needing to prove your worth that this phase of your life is about just experiencing something you've always wanted to without earning it, without the hardship. You are such a bright being. You've chosen this time to not heal, to not fix, but to enjoy, to have things come to you, to show yourself that you came here to master the play between consciousness and energy. Consciousness and energy. Being able to use your intention naturally and then let go of it. Then experience. Notice how everything gets worked out. Miracles become the norm. The reason I talk about this so much is not because I'm just interested in this whole it comes to you topic. It's because if you don't, I can't bring us into what we really want to do, which is to go beyond physics. Now, why do I say beyond physics when we're talking about it comes to you and earning and achieving? If you're still living in the old paradigms of this vibrational split of earning, efforting, forcing, believing you're a separate entity getting towards something, right? Fixing mode rather than just experiencing mode for joy, you're holding in energies that don't allow you to see what I'm speaking about in the next phase, which is technological, biological shifts which allow us to have a completely different experience of relating to each other. Now, why is it that this is important even with communication? If you're holding on to this density, I'm not going to want to speak to you because I feel everything you're feeling. If we open for too long, I know exactly what you're holding on to and the control mechanisms you have inside. That's why it's difficult for us to even have eye contact. If I look at you in your eyes and you're holding all of this inside, it's going to come right up to the surface. Now, I don't mind playing the projection game. I'll be there as a role. But if you could do that by yourself and meet me in the lightness of purer being, purer, less agendas, we can have a lot more fun without me having to always play the teacher role. I don't want to be a teacher in that way. I want us to be a circle of masters, each with our own characteristics, right? Each with our own flavor. I want to learn from you. I want to see how you do things, how you shift through, allow the elastic vision to allow you to perceive in different ways, the natural flow of life through you. But if you're holding all of these things, they're like barriers, especially with telepathy. I can't really gauge what you're saying in energy because it's so distorted with the ways that you closing down. So, if I can create a groundwork for people that are coming into this mastery of ease,